Do black people have a victim mentality and not take accountability? Let's talk about it. I'm your host, Ku Kolas, and you are now tuning into a new video on my channel. So let's get into it. I've been seeing a lot of folks of all races and gimmicks discussing the idea of black people having a victim mentality. And I've seen it all from tethers who have gripes with foundational black Americans to shea butter sambas who are talking greasy about the black men they're frustrated with, all the way to these individuals in the dominant society. The thing is, black folks get held to a higher standard than anyone, yet we get harsher discipline, more frequent discipline, and less grace. And there are several videos on the internet showing people randomly babbling about this particular subject. There's a lot to unpack here, y'all. And today, I'm only going to unpack the parts that matter and give you the context that you need.
Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior.
Black fatigue. It's all over my FYP page. Thank you. I am so happy that this is being brought up. And by the way, for us white people who've been on the block a long time, this isn't new to us. We've been dealing with this for over 40.
That's what they mean by we're victimized and we're entitled as black people. We can insult everybody else, openly and freely. We come to people's establishments, lie out. We are some of the most disrespectful people known to humankind on earth. Because in any other places, they would dispel us.
Our excuse is we've been through so much.
We ain't been through shit. Who is we? They, the nigga, have been through shit. The nigga ain't been through nothing. He got free education. He got to go skate. He got to say, you white people. He got to talk back to the police. The nigga never had that opportunity.
But you don't think that still affects us today?
Okay, so what did your grandparents go through that affected you that you don't know nothing about?
My grandma picked cotton in South Carolina.
How did that affect you?
It did.
There you go. So how can you say what the slave went through affected you? The things that affect you are not from 400 years ago. It's at least to your grandmother or your great-grandparents. So have you went and sat down to your bloodline and your lineage, your mama and father, your grandmother, grandfather, on both sides, mother and father side. If you ain't done that, don't tell me shit about what a slave went through when you don't know your father's mother. That's a cop-out and excuse for detrimental behavior that we accept and promote and clap for.
First of all, having a victim mentality is not a black issue. Essentially, anyone can have a victim mentality. And the thing is, usually when the subject of victim mentalities is even brought up, it's to discuss when black people are confronting and addressing racism. And the thing is, out of all cultural groups that are outside of whiteness, the most likely to fight back against racism, either verbally, in activism, or in physical resistance, are foundational black Americans. And that's not to say that we don't have writers or folks out here in the diaspora who fight back too. We've been known to historically fight back against those who harm us in our own homeland. The counter the dominant society used as a result is to say that we are victims for bringing it up. Essentially, the term victim mentality was created to take attention off and protect victimizers. And it's as simple as that. So in order to execute this, they decided to get everyone, including other foundational black Americans who are Sambos, who didn't want to stand and fight with us on their team, to parrot the same points just because they felt defeated. And then in a system of capitalism, which was created through white supremacy, they began to encourage an individualistic mentality versus the more group-centered dynamic that black folks have always been about. This is why, for example, I always talk about how the old Negroes don't deserve respect because they were sellouts that helped push all of this that I'm talking about in order to selfishly have benefits and trinkets by the dominant society. The dominant society encouraged them to do for themselves and maybe, I'm saying maybe for a reason, maybe their immediate family versus doing for their community. And their thing was they were to put down the black community in the process. Maybe they'll throw in a few buttermilk biscuits for them. The reason people think that fighting back is a victim mentality is because they are playing the this or that game. Many foundational black Americans have prevailed in spite of being oppressed by the white supremacists. And as a result, they'll point to black celebrities as exceptions to the rule. Here's the thing. A few exceptions do not disprove a pattern. They just prove that some people survive the pattern. And yes, they are successful, but they aren't impervious to racist shakedowns. And many of them have been exposed to racism both in life and in death as well too. Ain't that about a bitch? The way that racism affects you transcends death. And to be honest, if real justice was served, they'd be even more successful as celebrities, especially with them receiving monetary reparations for their families and ancestors suffering during slavery. The dominant society pretends that we need to just shut up and work instead of seeking justice. They also think that we should be happy we aren't in chains right now. Thing is, a person does not need to be in chains for the system to be racialized. That's like saying if the house isn't on fire anymore, then there can't still be smoke damage to the house. The point is not, is slavery still here in the exact same form? The point is, did the system that was built through slavery fully disappear? A victim mentality is when someone refuses action and hides in helplessness. Black people have been fighting, building, warning, organizing, and surviving this entire time. They pretend as if combating racism is complaining. And this is something that we need to remove from our language altogether. I don't know if any of you all have ever read a Neely Fuller Jr., rest in peace to him, by the way, even discusses in a lot of his content and in his work how combating and addressing racism is not a complaint or a gripe, it's a report. We are not patients treating our world as therapists. We are weathermen and women explaining the climate of white supremacy.
It's not victimhood, it's memory. And you only call it victimhood because we refuse to forget what you get to ignore. See, there's this lie of victimhood addiction. And here's really the truth. The system calls you a victim when you remember too loudly. When black people name the patterns, when we track the pain, when we cite the receipts, they don't say you're right. They say you're stuck. They say you're playing the victim. But who gave us the pain in the first place? Who refuses to prepare it? Who builds their peace on our silence? They tell us to stop talking about slavery while they cash in the checks from what slavery built and see that what they call victimhood is just unprocessed grief. This ain't victimhood. This ain't nothing like that. It's the ache of living in a world that sees your beauty and wants your suffering. It's the exhaustion of explaining why your son shouldn't be a hashtag. It's the fatigue of success that never feels safe. This isn't playing victim. It's carrying memory that no one else helped us bury. That's exactly what happened. We didn't inherit victimhood. We inherited unresolved justice. That's all that happened. Unresolved justice. That's all we inherited. And then there's this projection of guilt that roams deep when white society or even black conservatives, I'll even lump y'all in. When y'all say y'all always play victim, what they're really saying is stop reminding me of what I haven't made right. Victim blaming isn't just a tactic. It's a defense mechanism against accountability. I want you guys to understand it correctly. We don't want to be victims. We want to be whole. And they only let us speak when we're pretending we're healed. That's the only time. Right? But then, you know what it's costing us? The dangerous cost of moving on and the pressure to get over it is what keeps us under it. You can't heal what you're not allowed to name. You can't rise while dragging 400 years of suppressed streams. When black folks don't move on fast enough, they say we're bitter. When we do move on too fast, they say we're ungrateful. So which is it? It's just a good question. Here's the truth. We're not victims, we're carriers. We carry the grief so old it has a spine, and a memory so sharp it doesn't bleed, it cuts clean. We're not over-identifying with pain. No. That's not what's going on. We're metabolizing pain the world keeps feeding us. And doing it with brilliance, doing it with rhythm, doing it with power. You don't get to call us victims until you stop being architects of the womb. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Complaining about bleeding, holding the blade, exists as the blade. Like why? Like what?
Most of us black folks are just minding our own business. And here's the thing. There's a difference between naming the offense and worshiping the offense. We are hustling and still speaking up for ourselves. We can do both. We're multifaceted. Combating racism and still hustling at the same time is not a victim mentality. It's activism. And ultimately, it's self-respect when you have been wronged and continuously harmed. And to be honest, it's not like it went away. Tell me, like all of you racist Rice Krispie Raiders, I want to know, tell me the time, the date, and the event in which racism left. I mean, specifically, let me know since you all are pretending like it's something that just went away. I'm not anyone's bitch either, and I refuse to let racist Rice Krispie Raiders play games with me and gaslight me about the way that they racially mistreat me and other black people who look like me. If anything, we are often over accountable, not under accountable. I mean, come on, our people are doing all types of shit to appease motherfuckers. We're overworking, we're code switching, apologizing before naming racism, proving ourselves twice as hard, black parents warning kids how to act around the police, black professionals code switching to survive, black people over preparing just to receive normal treatment, constant disclaimers before discussing racism, fear of sounding angry or lazy or playing victim. It's just a bunch of bullshit. And we do all this all while usually getting paid less in many of these situations. The dominant society loves individual accountability for black people, but avoids group accountability for the racism that they cause. And this part is important, so just pay attention. Black people get told, take accountability, be responsible, stop blaming racism, control what you can control. But the dominant society rarely takes group accountability for redlining, job discrimination, housing theft, police brutality, media stereotypes, educational sabotage, medical racism, loan bias, criminal sentencing disparities, and so much more. So the hypocrisy is they preach personal accountability downward while avoiding structural accountability upward. Hell, all we do is go around and talk about how we don't want to be victims or people criticizing us. Think about it. You got black folks walking around talking about Weezy is our own worst enemy. We will take responsibility for our shit and even shit that we didn't even cause or is our fault. And even when it's fully accepted that it isn't our fault, there's always some witness behind them that always says some shit. Some Negro that's always behind us saying, well, it still be your responsibility and shit to change it. So we can't get away from it. I've seen many YouTubers even who will throw out the disclaimer of not wanting to have a victim mentality when all they're doing is discussing a racist incident. It's like, Negro, stop being a goddamn apologist and just say the shit that you need to say and make your damn point. Hell, people don't even like to talk to each other about racism, let alone any problem anymore, at the fear that someone will pull out this victim mentality bullshit that's been overused and misused. Hell, on social media, I see more people complaining about people complaining than people actually complaining. To be honest, most of the Negroes that are doing this are attributing that statement to some lowbrow, dusty Negro that they know and acting like that's the norm for us as a collective. Point is, I could go on and on and on, but being a victim or having a victim mentality is not race specific. And it's definitely not the true problem that people make it out to be. And there are folks even having debates about racism versus personal accountability in the black community. Then the Lice Legion will turn around and they'll be like, why don't you take responsibility for your community? Where is your accountability, dude? You blacks are professional victims. That's all you all are. Why don't you go back to Africa, dude? Which really, when it comes to having no accountability, is for them the pot calling the kettle black.
So let's talk about why some people love calling black people victims. It's not random, it's psychological. First, it shifts the blame. If the system is the problem, that requires accountability. But if you're the problem, they're off the hook. Second, it controls the narrative. If your reality gets dismissed, they don't have to deal with it. Third, it protects comfort. Because facing inequality, that makes people uncomfortable. And let's be real, sometimes it's straight up gaslighting. Recognizing injustice is not a victim mentality, it's awareness. So the real question is, why is it always a victim mentality when we say something? This is black excellence, this is black history. And remember, black history is American history.
White people love to play the victim in basically any situation, and I say this as a white person. It is a pattern that I've witnessed time and time again, especially when white people are called out for their terrible behavior. That is why they continue to gaslight black and brown people when they talk about their experiences with racism, because they don't want to admit that they've done anything wrong. And white victimhood is a classic tenet of white supremacy, and more specifically, it is a classic behavior that white women will take part in, like white woman tears, because the actual thought of taking responsibility for any of their actions is repulsive to them. And that's why if you want to fully deconstruct and to be a better ally, you have to get over yourself. You have to get over the fact that you've been taught to play the victim your entire life. Because the reality is that in a system that you are quite literally benefiting from, you cannot possibly be the victim in these situations. The people who are truly being victimized by the system are black and brown people who are being paid less, who are being mistreated, who are being victims of hate crimes. So today, think about how you can get over yourself and stop being a victim in order to better support the people around you, which starts with actually listening to their experiences instead of trying to interject your own intentions or your own experiences. Because at the end of the day, it's not about you.
Do y'all know how many Sambo pygmies and sock puppets pretending to be black people get into my comment section and they'll start whining and talking about some, I'm black, I'm black, and I think black people are a problem. I'm black. And I hardly ever hear anyone from the dominant society admit I'm keeping it real about things related to the racism that they cause. And I've proved millions of times with millions of different examples about the way that their people behave. As a matter of fact, let's just take 10 steps back and just talk about the concept of a victim mentality. One thing that I've learned from studying Neely Fuller Jr. is that the dominant society operates in a state of confusion, manipulation, deception, and half-truths. And it's no secret that they created a system of racism. And in order to protect that system, they chose to confuse, manipulate, and deceive the masses. And keep in mind, they control every area of human activity. And that means economics, education, entertainment, labor, politics, religion, sex, and war/counter-war. They also control the media, which has become a heavy source of portraying all of these concepts in some way. And because so many people are connected, they will begin to push out the ideologies that they want people to believe, focus on, and think about through indoctrination. The thing is, the dominant society for centuries has created a society that has negatively impacted black people racially. Then over time, they tried to hide it in plain sight by now practicing covert racism. And sometimes they love to delve into debate fallacies to prove that there's this victimhood amongst black people. And one thing that black people have to work on, by the way, is to end getting into this battered wife talk that goes way too far. It starts going from I will reclaim my power to I will reclaim my power and it will be all on me because racism doesn't exist anymore. To be clear, I'm not saying be negative, and I'm also not saying don't own your mistakes. There is power in fighting back. So that needs to, again, be clarified. But acting like racism won't be an obstacle is simply not true. The first step to solving a problem is admitting that that problem exists so we can examine it and talk about how to fight back against it. And we have a problem with being victims of white supremacy, plain and simple. The other truth is most people who say stop being a victim don't say it because they want you to be strong. They say it because they want you to shut the fuck up. The problem is the real function of this phrase is often to either delegitimize black grievances, make racism seem imaginary or exaggerated, or to force black people to perform emotional restraint while still being mistreated. To be honest, I'm not sure what's worse, labeling black resistance as victimhood or turning a pro-black character into a damn terrorist. Because really, let's be real, it's all the same shit. But for those of you all who are watching this video, you have to ask the question, do black people have a victim mentality or does the dominant society have an accountability problem? For those of you all who just finished watching this video, answer this question for me below. Do you believe that black people have a victim complex? Or do you believe that the issue is that the dominant society is deflecting from having a discussion about the accountability around them being racist? Let me know below and let's go ahead and get this discussion started. Before we get up out of here, I would love it if you were to take advantage of my membership tiers. I have 3 tiers that you can take advantage of: the preview tier, the plus tier, and the premium tier. Each tier has different benefits. You can get anything from membership-based polls all the way to my special series, Who is the Real Villain in Different Black Classic Movies. Anything that you are able to contribute to the Cool Colas channel is a big help to not just the Cool Colas channel, but the Cool Colas brand as a whole. And it helps me to continue to provide you with great, informative, and for some of you all, entertaining information on this channel. Now, with that being said, I'm looking forward to inviting you all to the exclusive Cool Click. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say, and I definitely will have more to come in the future. So make sure you stay tuned. In the meantime, I would love it if you like this video, subscribe, share it, and also hit the bell icon so you get notifications for whenever I come out with new content on this channel. Other than that, I will talk to you later. Peace out, y'all.